Hey everyone, so today we're going to be going over the personal statement and how to structure and go about doing that. Whereas there can be different length requirements or prompts for every personal statement, there are some general guidelines that are standard across the board, and usually you can chunk the personal statement up into three sections, first being the hook, then being the tell your story, and then lastly your future and your conclusion. So starting with that introduction, it's going to be like we learned in our fourth grade writing class about the hook, how you really want to entice the reader and talk about something personal that makes them keep wanting to read, because it is a long document and you want to diversify yourself from everyone else that's applying. So make sure you do something really strong, because this sets the framework for the rest of your personal statement. So you want it to be something relevant to what you're applying for in some way, shape, or form, because this is going to set the tone for the rest of your personal statement. If it's a great experience that you had, or it's a great reason that you're writing this personal statement, it's not going to matter if it's not relevant to the rest of your essay. So just making sure that it's, one, a good experience or a good talking point, and two, that it's relevant and you can wrap it into everything else that you're going to be saying within that. So making sure that you're answering the questions of why are you writing this and what do you want? And if you're writing a personal statement specifically to one program or one school, making sure that you're addressing that school and program in the first introduction paragraph, that's really important. So just grabbing the reader's attention, it can be really a plethora of things, so don't feel like you have to stick to a format like the cover letter, how you start very structured and you introduce who you are and it's very, very professional. The personal statement is an area for you to be more personal, using I, the first person, and really trying to show your voice, but at the same time being very concise. We don't want to, run on and waste people's time, so still being very clear and concise about what we want, but also balancing your voice and really expressing why you want this position. So moving on to the second section, that's the body. So this is where you can talk about 2 to 3 experiences or stories that you've had in your life. You could talk about your passions or your experiences that have shaped you as a person, but don't feel like they need to be those really sad, heavy stories that a lot of people put on their personal statements. It can definitely be about some person that shaped your life, or a person that influenced you to want to be in this field, or maybe work for the Peace Corps or something like that. Just make an impact and try to describe who you are so they can get an insight into your life, but they don't expect you to be someone who has gone through all these hard things and that's why they want you. They just want to show you to kind of show how you'll be a competent student or professional. And let's see. And making sure that these stories, maybe you have the best story that you've ever been through, the hardest ship that you've sailed on, but it has nothing to do with this program or what you want. If you can't relate it to this program or why it makes you want to pursue this, then it's not relevant. Then you're just trying to, slip in that pity card, and you don't want to do that, because oftentimes they can see that that's what you're trying to do. In addition, in this body area, you're going to want to explain any discrepancies you have in your academic record, whether that be a fall in your GPA or a time period where you didn't have any experience. You're going to want to explain and speak to why that was so that they can kind of get a better understanding of, oh, maybe you had an illness this semester or that semester, and that's why you didn't have any experience. So then they can judge you holistically and not kind of be guessing on why you had this lull in your time. Okay, and if you are applying your personal statement generally to a bunch of outlets, then this won't apply. But if you're applying your personal statement to a specific program in a specific school, make sure to include why you want that program and why you'd be a good fit for that school and that program. This is going to really personalize your personal statement, and you're going to be able to show the research that you've done. Let's say that this school really focuses on this department and you have experience in that field and that's where your passion lies. Definitely talk about that and bring in them. You don't want it to be all about you, mostly about you, it will be, and then a little bit about why them. Everyone loves to hear about themselves, so include that. Now moving on to the third section, which is the conclusion. You just want to reiterate the focus of the story and the main ideas and kind of wrap it up with a little bow and focus on your future goals. Like, where do you want to be in 10 years? What's your long-term career goals? And how can this program help you get there? Even if it's a generalized personal statement, you can still talk about how PT school will get you to where you want to be. So talking about the future is kind of where this, and a good way to wrap up your personal statement. Let's see. Now, that's pretty much how you break your personal statement into 3 sections, but some other tips to know while you're creating this is, well, there might be different prompts for each personal statement, or there might be different length requirements. The best way to structure it is 2 pages double spaced. This will help you prevent you from rambling, and you don't really need 4 pages to tell your story. We don't want to waste anyone's time once again. And you're gonna have to go through the entire writing process while creating this. That means rough draft, edit, rewrite, send it to people, they'll proofread it. Don't write your personal statement 2 days before it's due. This is something, really try to get that rough draft and that shell out there, then have 2 to 3 people read it for you to see if you're answering the question, what do you want, why are you writing this, and if it really shows who you are in the best light. So don't be afraid to reread it aloud and then, put it away for 2 days, come back to it, edit it, get the feedback from those 2 to 3 people that have edited it for you, and then submit it. So don't be in any rush to write your personal statement. This is a really great place for you to shine and talk about things that aren't on your resume or explain the discrepancies in your academic record. So use that to your advantage because it's really a great thing to have. So I hope this helps, and if you have any more specific questions about personal statements, just leave them in the comments below. Bye!